While exploring the stream, have you noticed rocks with small green plant-like structures? They are mosses. Mosses belongs to bryophytes. And in this video, we will be studying about bryophytes. Bryophytes are the simplest and the most primitive plant types. The bryophytes are generally seen in moist, shaded areas, especially in damp, humid and shaded regions. Bryophytes depend on both water as well as soil in their lifetime. So, they are known as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. That is, these plants live in soil and they depend on water for the reproduction processes or to complete their life cycle. Now, you get an outline, right? So, let's check the structure of the bryophytes in detail. Advanced structures than algae can be found in this group. The plant body is a thallus-like structure and prostrate or erect-shaped body attached to the substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. If you check the image, you can see root-like, stem-like and leaf-like structures. Learning about the ploidy of the plant, they produce haploid gametes. So, what are the peculiarities? We call them gametophytes as they produce gametes. They have photosynthetic pigments which makes them to produce their own food. Now, let us check the reproduction processes. The multicellular male sex organ is the antheridium, which produces the male gamete androzoids. It's a biflagellate structure. The female gamete is the egg produced from a flask-shaped archegonium. So, now you learned about the male and female sex organs. Let us now check how fertilization takes place. Fertilization is mainly through water. Here, the androzoids fuses with the egg to form a zygote which then develops into a multicellular sporophyte. So, where does the sporophyte get its nourishment? This sporophyte gets its nourishment from the gametophyte as they are attached to each other. Here, you need to note that the zygote formed does not undergo meiosis. But some sporophytic cells undergo meiosis and they produce haploid spores. These spores then germinate to produce gametophytes. So, that is all about the structure and reproduction process in bryophytes. Let's now check the economic importance of bryophytes. Herbivorous animals, birds, and other mammals feed on some mosses. Some bryophytes, such as peat moss, helps in peat production. Few bryophytes have medicinal values too. Next, we will discuss a few ecological importance. Due to the water holding capacity, they reduce the amount of runoff water, resulting in increased soil moisture. They decompose rocks which pave way for the growth of higher plants. They reduce the impact of falling rain on the soil, thus preventing soil erosion. Are there any divisions of bryophytes? Yes, there are two divisions of bryophytes. One is a liverwort and the other is a mosses. So let's learn about liverworts first. Liverworts are green, small-sized terrestrial plants that do not have stems or leaves or roots. The region above the ground is a leaf-like structure known as thallus. And this thallus is dorsiventrally arranged and seen as a dense, thick structure. And the leaf-like structure are appendages in two rows and have an underground structure known as rhizoids, or in singular known as rhizoid. So where are they seen? They are seen in moist and shady habitats like banks and streams, damp soil, marshy grounds, the barks of trees, and moist woods. Now let's focus on the reproduction of liverworts. Being the simple structure of this plant family, they have a simple process of reproduction. Fragmentation of thalli is the process by which liverworts reproduce asexually. Another kind of asexual reproduction is the formation of gemma. They are specialized structures. Now, let us have a detailed study of a gemma. As you can see on the screen, they are multicellular green structures that form small receptacles on the thalli called gemma cups. Generally, they are asexual buds. Can you guess what happens after the growth? They get detached from the parent body and they germinate to form new individuals. In the case of sexual reproduction, the sporophyte is differentiated into a root, seta, and a capsule. After meiosis, these spores are produced within the capsule. The spores germinate to form free-living gametophytes. The next division of bryophytes are mosses. The mosses are small, non-vascular plants which are seen in moist conditions. The leaf structures of the plant are spirally arranged and sometimes they have 2 or 3 layers. Rhizoids are seen at the bottom of the plant. Bryophytes show alternation of generation. Recall that the alternation of generation is the alternation of a sexual phase and an asexual phase in the life cycle of an organism, that is, a sporophyte and a gametophyte. The predominant stage of the life cycle of a moss is a gametophyte, which consists of 2 stages, a protonemous stage and a leafy stage. A protonemous stage which develops directly from a spore and a leafy stage which develops from the secondary protonema as a lateral bud. The leafy stage bears the sex organs. Now let us check the various reproduction modes. Vegetative reproduction in mosses is by fragmentation and through budding, and it is in secondary protonema. So recall that the antheridium is a haploid structure producing the male gametes, while the archegonium is a structure producing female gametes. In mosses, both the antheridium and the archegonium are produced at the apex of the leafy shoots. So in sexual reproduction, the zygote is formed and develops into a sporophyte. The sporophyte is differentiated into a foot, a seta, and a capsule. So what happens after meiosis? After meiosis, the spores are produced within the capsule. The spores then germinates. Funaria, polytrichum, sphagnum are few examples of mosses. So pteridophytes are an advanced plant type than bryophytes, which include horsetails and ferns. The pteridophytes are found in cool, damp and shady places. They are the first plant type to have a vascular tissue. Recall that xylem and phloem are the vascular tissues. Many pteridophytes have economical and medicinal purposes. They are soil binders too. Here, the main plant body is a sporophyte. Let us now check the peculiarity of these sporophytes. The body is differentiated into true stems and leaves along with a vascular system for the conduction of water and other particles. So what is the function of a vascular system? It is for the conduction of water as well as other organic particles. And these sporophytes bear sporangia supported by sporophylls, a leaf-like appendage. In between, can you recall the main body part of the bryophytes? Yes, it is a gametophytic stage. So next, coming to the leaf structure of pteridophytes, there are generally two types, that is microphyls and megaphylls. Microphyls are defined as the leaves of small size. Micro means small, right? It is with simple venation. Selaginella is an example. While megaphylls can be determined by the leaves which have a larger size, they have more than one venation. Ferns are example for macrophylls. In some cases, sporophylls may form distinct compact structures known as strobili or cones. Let us now check the life cycle of these plants. Pteridophytes show alternation of generations too. The life cycle begins when the plant body bears sporangia in the sporophyte, which are subtended by sporophylls. However, in some genera like Equistum, the sporophylls form distinct structures like cones or strobili. Through meiosis process, this sporangium produces spores from spore mother cell. They germinate into young gametophytes known as prothallus. So now let's check the main general features of a prothallus. As you can see on the screen, it is a small, multicellular, free-living and mainly photosynthetic gametophyte that grows only in cool, damp and shady places. The prothallus also bears the male and female sex organs, that is the antheridia and the archegonia. Keeping water as a medium of movement, the male gametes are released to the mouth of the archegonium, resulting in the formation of a zygote which develops into a young embryo. And this embryo gets differentiated into a young sporophyte and ultimately into a mature sporophyte. So we can infer that there is a gametophytic phase and a sporophytic phase as well. Based on the sporophytic structure, pteridophytes are classified into homosporous and heterosporous pteridophytes. Homosporous pteridophytes produce spores of similar kind, while on the flip side, heterosporous pteridophytes produce spores of different kinds. The megaspores germinate into female gametophytes which produce eggs, and the microspores germinates into the male gametophytes which develops into an anthrazoid. It is in the female gametophytes that the development of the zygote takes place. In the evolutionary process, this process is a major key point as the same process is studied in gymnosperms and angiosperms. So the pteridophytes are classified into four classes: Coelopsida, Lycopsida, Spinopsida and Pteropsida. So let us summarize what we have learned.
Manorama Horizon. Learning made simple.